So in Substance Painter, we want to make sure to set up a project properly. So let's select File, New. Let's make sure we are working in PBR metallic roughness. And also let's select the Preserve UV tile layout per material and enable painting across tiles. So we would have the proper UV workflow from Marvelous Designer to Substance Painter. So let's obviously make sure to select this one. And also, obviously, let's select a file that we've exported, this hoodie static, and press OK. Nice. So now we have our hoodie imported to the Substance Painter with the proper texture sets. Let's have a look. This one is the body part, the front and the back one. And this one is for sleeves and hood details and some extra stuff that we've created in Marvelous Designer. And you want to make sure you will save your file as a separate Substance Painter file, project file. Let's override this one because we'll be importing a lot of assets over here and we want to make sure they will be stored and baked into this file for our convenience. I'm going to rename those texture sets for now. This one is for body, this one is for sleeves, like this. Okay, nice and clean. Everything is set up. We actually don't see those inner parts of the model because we have to change the shader settings for our workflow. So let's go to shader settings and select this PBR metallic roughness with alpha blending. Let's select this one, and now we see those inner parts very clearly. And I think we're pretty much done with this setup. So now let's import the assets from Substance Source, Substance Designer, and Alchemist. I'm going to drag and drop two Substance Archive files directly to my shelf over here, like this. And as you can see, we've imported to cotton fabric from Substance Alchemist. Let's set it as a base material. And technical fabric from Substance Source, same base material. And let's make sure to import your assets to a hoodie texture project file that will be stored and baked inside this file for our convenience. Now we have those two basic materials imported to this project tab for quick access. And I'm going to import those two patterns that we've created in Substance Designer. Let's make sure to import as a texture. And this one is texture. And select the import resources to our project file. Now we have all the files baked in. Now let's start texturing the body part. So I'm going to turn off the sleeves for now and focus on body part. Let's drag and drop this cotton fabric on top of the body part. As you can see, it's the scale is a little bit off and we want to lower it down dramatically for this purpose, like this. You can rotate it, but we will leave it horizontally like this, okay? And I'm going to deselect the height channel for now because we'll be using normal map for the details and stuff like that. So let's make sure the height is off and normal is on. And to see more details, I think we need to increase the resolution of this texture set. So let's head to size and increase it to 2K. So we'll see much more details. And I'm going to change the HDRI environment for the scene so it would look like more of a studio. I think I'm going to choose, let's say, Studio 5. Let's drag and drop it to our 3D window. Like this, yeah. I really like working in studio HDRIs to have a more clear color representation inside 3D window. And once the environment and lighting setup is done, I think I'm going to jump into Smart Materials shelf and select this fabric UCP Smart Material and drag and drop it on top of our body. Nice. Now let's head to our Layers tab. And you see we've created a fabric UCP folder that has a few different parameters. One of them is folds. We don't really need them because it's going to be way too much folds on the fabric. So now I want to mix those two materials, the fabric that we've created in Alchemist and this new UCP fabric. So let's head to this blending mode and select the hard light. And now we are getting some interesting results after blending two fabrics with each other. So I think I'm going to head to this fabric UCP folder and select this fabric UCP base material. And I'm going to play a little bit with the scale of this military pattern. Just a little bit this and that, like this. I really like how those orange lines appeared because we've blended two different fabrics with each other using hard light blending mode. It's always a great thing to observe how happy accident happens, you know, and you see those unique results. So yeah, don't be afraid to experiment, to blend, and maybe you'll find something very cool that you've never seen before, and you'll be very interested in, let's say, using on your fabric. Now is a good time to use Substance source bridge. So let's get to Substance source over here, and let's scroll a little bit down and find this soft surfaces category that we've talked about. And I'm going to use this military name patch over here, but instead of really downloading it like we did before, I'm going to use this Send to Substance Painter button over here. So it's basically preparing all the assets and sending them straight to the project. You see, it says it's already been sent, blah, 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 all good. Now we can head to our shelf, project shelf, and type name. And here it is. We have our military name patch, like this. And let's drag and drop this one on top of our body again. It's not a big deal that the scale is off, obviously. We can modify it, so let's scale it just a little bit down, like this. Let's place it on top of our front part. And we don't really want this patch is to be wrapped on top of the whole pattern. We want to be a single piece. So let's get to Properties Fill and select UV Wrap to None. So it's going to be a single object. You can drag and place whatever you like. So I'm going to drag this patch just a little bit to the chest part, scale it down to match the overall scale. Just some minor tweaks. I think we are pretty much good to go. Now I'm going to turn off the height channel on this one, and I'm going to scroll down while selecting the military name patch, and in the text section I'm going to type Mike. Let's name this guy Mike, why not? Okay, now we have our name. We can change color. Let's select the eye picker and select something like orange or maybe black. I think I'm going to select a orange for now, maybe change it later after we are done. Now support color can be maybe something like this to match the overall color palette. Okay, what else we can change here? We can change basically everything because it's procedural. It has a different presets already inside, like silver, dark metal, military. I'm gonna stick to this one and change colors back. Orange, or maybe even black. Yeah, I think we'll stick to the black. And also I'm going to increase the text roughness to 1 so it is less reflective and has this fabric feel on it. And actually, let's decrease this support size, which is basically the width of the patch. Just match the word mic with just a little bit space in between the borders. Okay, I'm going to actually select the size to 4K to see all these small details we have over here. You see we have this nice and clean stitching is happening, but this is just to see how it looks. We'll change the resolution size to 2K to speed up everything. And once I'm done with the front part, I think I'm going to rotate our mesh in 3D window, and let's add some cool stuff to the back part as well. So in our search menu over here, I'm going to type spray, okay, and drag and drop it on top of our mesh like we always do. And it also created this cool looking name spray tag, like awesome stuff, super procedural. Again, let's get to our layers. Let's select the spray paint tag, and let's head to the top in the parameters and select UV wrap to none, same as we did with the military patch. And we're gonna place it just to the central part of the back piece of the garment. The procedural parameters are pretty decent in terms of variety because you can tweak pretty much everything in here. You can select even your custom mask input, which is pretty great. Just select this custom mask tool and import your alpha and you'll have one. But we're gonna use some presets for now. They have a cat head here, they have a crown, they have a scribble effect, but we're gonna stick to crown since our mic is gonna be a king of the streets. I'm going to enable this height channel to add some extra dents to the fabric so we have a feeling that somebody actually painted it. I'm going to head to the technical parameters and play just a little bit with the height position over here to make it more visible, and normal intensity just a little bit like here. And okay, I think with the technical channels, technical parameters, we are done. Now I'm going to change the color to match the overall color palette. So I'm going to choose this color picker and select one of the colors we already have on our fabric. I think this orange would fit. And I'm going to do just some minor tweaks of those elements that we've already placed. I'm going to see how the overall look we have. Just some small things like scale, color, I don't know, just playing around, see what would fit, what do I like, what I don't like. Now I'm going to choose the size to 4K for this specific texture set and see what kind of details and macro details we have generated along the way. So this crown, painted crown, is looking super detailed and super awesome. All those paint leaks looks great. Also, I really like how the borders of this patch is looking. I also like those small lines that we've created, which are pretty unique. Now we are going to active sleeve texture set over here, and we're going to work on those sleeve parts and those lower body parts and wrist parts and hood. I'm going to head to project and select this tactical fabric that I've downloaded from Substance source. Let me drag and drop it on top of our sleeve parts, and also make sure I'm increasing the resolution to 2K to see more details of this specific texture set. So now we have this nice and awesome base material that we've downloaded. I'm going to scale it just a little bit down to see all the small fiber details of this base material. Just some small tweaks like this. I'm going to actually set the value to 2. I guess we're pretty much done with this basic tactical fabric scales, which is looking great so far. Now we'll be working on with adding some extra details by adding those patterns that we've created and mixing them with the another basic material that Substance Painter has. So let's go to materials and select this gold pure. Let's drag it to on top of our clothes, and it overlaid it instantly, which is pretty interesting. But we would really want to apply those masks. So let's select the gold pure and add a bitmap mask, and let's type pattern, the name of our pattern, since we named it that way. Let's select this one, and as you can see, we already have our mask applied on top of this material, which is pretty great. Let's select this fill mask, and let's scale it down to match the overall look and feel. We can move it around and find the perfect, I guess, position for our mask, like this. If you want to change it, let's just type another pattern and select the other one that we've created, this one. Okay, so as you can see, again, drag and scale the mask to find the perfect match you're looking for. And once we are happy with the mask scaling, we are good to change the color. Let's head back to our base material, and actually we have to select this paint bucket to modify the color. So let's select the color picker, and let's find a good one, a good color from our palette to match the overall look. I guess this one is pretty much okay for now. We'll be able to change it afterwards with ease. And let's say I'm pretty much happy with colors and pattern placement, but I don't really want those to be applied on the hood part and on the bottom elastic parts or wrist parts. We have to add some minor generators to fix that. Okay, let's head to our gold pure material and select the mask. And while mask is selected, let's add a paint layer over here, like this. And now you can actually paint those parts by using black and white values, but sometimes it's overlays on the parts you don't really need. So we'll be using some different tools. So let's select this polygon fill thing, which is pretty powerful. And let's select the UV chunk fill over here. So it basically it fills the separate chunks of the UV maps you need without intersecting with other parts. So by double clicking on those parts you need, you can fill with the black or white values to add or like erase masks. We'll be using the black color to erase those parts we don't really need. Let's just double click on those parts really quick, on those hood part as well. And now we're going to head back to our paint mode to see what we've done. And now, yeah, we don't really have those on those extra pieces. We only have the mask on top of our sleeves over here. By like deselecting this paint layer, you can see what we actually did. So this tool is pretty powerful if you want to do some quick masking. So yeah. And now let's work on adding some stitches on top of our body part. So stitches will be adding stitches on those shoulder parts as an extra layer of detailing. So let's head back to our body texture set. Let's create a new folder and call it stitches, like here. Let's change the color to red because red is cool. And now in our shelf panel, let's type in stitches, stitch, and you can see this stitch generator over here. Let's add a new layer, fill layer. Let's call it stitches, and let's select the color red for now to see those stitches more clearly. And I'm going to add a black mask, and we'll be using mask to actually add those. Let's head to our shelf and select stitch generator. And now we can play with the parameters to find the perfect stitch size and spacing we need. Let's play a little bit with the rotation. Let's select something like this, and let's turn off the follow pass so those stitches will be applying on a straight line. So let's head like this. Let's select those parameters, and the best way to paint stitches is actually in 2D window. So I'm going to paint those on top of this orange line, and this one, I guess, just something like this. Maybe a little bit further, another side as well, the back part. Just adding some extra stuff like this. Okay, maybe another small line over here, like this. Now I think we are good in terms of placing stitches. Now it's a good time to do the colorization. Let's head back to our the film layer, and let's select base color, something more darkish, maybe black for now. Let's increase height to really see and feel those stitches. We actually don't need that much of a roughness over here, since it's a fabric stitches, not a metallic, but you can make them metallic. I don't know, maybe you need that to be metallic. So yeah, now I think the color is way too black. It doesn't really match the feel, so I'm going to make it just a little bit more grayish. And also a great part, let's actually select the mask again, and let's add a filter over here. And let's add filter and type in the sharpen, and let's increase the sharpen intensity. And yeah, it's, as you can see, dramatically increasing the level of details of our stitches. And now let's add something really cool, I guess. Let's select this stitches layer and let's drag it with the Control key selected like this, so we make a copy of it. Let's call it shadow over here. Let's delete this sharpen filter that we've created, and while we are in the shadow mask mode, let's add another filter and type in blur. And what we actually are doing, we are creating this extra layer of shadows behind the stitches. So let's head back to shadow and let's select the color to dark. So now we are pretty much getting something we are trying to achieve over here. I'm going to play just a little bit with the parameters on both shadow and actual stitches layer with some, I don't know, height, metallic roughness to find the better look and feel. And don't forget to rotate your environment to see your actual model from different angles and from different light source. So I guess I'm pretty much happy with how the stitches is looking for now. It has those small opacity masks, is exactly what we needed. So while I'm looking at the final result, I have a feeling that I really want to change the pattern on those sleeves. So the great part of it, it's pretty much easy to do in everything here. So I'm going to go back to sleeves and select this pattern fill layer over here. I'm going to select another pattern to match the concept I'm trying to achieve over here. I'm going to select, I guess, maybe this, or actually just a different one like this. Yeah, this one is more appealing to me, and it fits the final look after we added all the details, all the colors. So just going to scale it just a little bit up and down to find the better positioning of the mask. And I think we are pretty much done with the painting and texturing work in Substance Painter. Now let's prepare everything for the export. So let's head to the file and let's select the export textures. The export textures pop-up window will show up, and we want to make sure we are working in proper output templates. So let's select the PBR metallic roughness one, which are pretty much already set up for us. Let's head back to settings. Let's make sure we have both body and sleeves texture set selected. In the global settings, we want to make sure the output templates is correct. The file type is PNG for me. I'm going to select a 4K resolution over here. You can select even 8K if you need that. So I'm going to make sure we are exporting in the proper direction, and yeah, we're good to export. It just takes a few seconds to export everything. And now we're going to jump into Cinema 4D and bash everything that we've created in a single scene and do some presentation work over there.